Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good and back to work after great celebration of Deepavali with family. Uh, okay, let me introduce myself. This is Arvind, having more than 15 years of experience, total IT experience, uh, working on Sitecore platform since 2015. Proudly currently working with Santu as a technology lead. And also looking into my passion is always looking into the latest acquisitions of Sitecore. So I'm trying to be always on top of all those technologies. And also I'm a technical blogger, active on communities. So you can connect me through these channels. Okay. In case of someone did not attend the last session, what we can do is we can have a quick recap of what we had discussed earlier this session. So again, those who are not aware of recent acquisition of Sitecore, these are few acquisitions that were made by Sitecore. Style Lab initially, and then rebranded it with Sitecore. Then 451, which is now known as Sitecore Audit Cloud, and the third one is Boxer. This is the current topic today, and it is rebranded with Sitecore CDP. So now Boxer is known as Sitecore CDP. And the email marketing automation tool, Moosend, that is also acquired by Sitecore. These were the topic in our last session that we discussed in great details. So mostly it was a theoretical part. We're not able to spend some time on the demo part. It was just a quick overview of that. So probably we'll have that detailed look. Discuss capabilities of Sitecore CDP. So that is a simple CDP definitions. You can always go back and check the previous section to get insight on that. We discussed about Sitecore CDP offers rent of CDP. So these are four main core capabilities: data management.
Arvind, your voice is breaking and coming back from time to time. Could you possibly speak closer to the microphone or something?
Yeah. So it is a bit better now.
Sorry?
Is it a bit better now?
Yeah, it's better now. If you could just speak a little louder, it'll help. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so these are main four core component of Sitecore CDPs we discussed about. First is data management. Second one is experimentation, where we are doing some A/B kind of testing. And the third one is personalization, how we can deliver the personalization through Sitecore CDP using decisioning. So decisioning is also a fourth module of it. This is more about very first topic. Very first component. We are talking about data management here. So we discussed this main component in greater detail in the first session, and how data ingestion can be done, identity resolution, segmentation, experiences. So probably we'll have a detailed look on the experiences as. So that is overall integration diagram of Sitecore CDP. In the left part, we can see that there are a couple of APIs that we can leverage to ingest the data into Sitecore CDP. First one is string, second one is interactive, and third one is batch. Again, all have its own what I would say applicability. We already discussed in our first session. So you can just go through it, and that is actually a processing engine in between, and then it is delivering the personalized content to the multiple channels that you can see at the right side. Integration approaches through JavaScript, stream API, batch APIs, and interactive APIs that we discussed. I'll quickly move ahead because we covered. Okay, that is very important point that we need to consider. We'll have a look as a part of this demo as well. This is the core code snippet that we always need to have whenever we are trying to integrate any vanilla system, any vanilla application, or pure HTML application. So that snippet is required. It's just that we need to replace few of the tokens, and those tokens we can get it from Sitecore CDP's environment. So I'll show you how we can get those tokens. And another approach is Google Tag Manager. If your application is already on Google Tag Manager, then we don't need to worry about much. All scripts can be written in the Google Tag Manager itself. How to integrate Google Tag Manager? These are the steps that we already discussed. So and batch APIs. Whenever we are onboarding any new client into CDP, the first approach could be we might need to sync all their data, all their clients' data into Sitecore CDP. How we can do it? We can use the Sitecore CDP batch APIs to migrate their existing on-prem data to the Sitecore CDP environment so that we can apply the decisioning, apply the personalization, apply the filtration, create a segmentation, all those kind of stuff into the Sitecore CDP platform itself. And to use that we already discussed, and how to use. These are a few steps that we need to take care of whenever we are trying to integrate, whenever we are trying to use the batch APIs. So there are a few things like we need to compress the batch file first, then we need to calculate the checksum, and we need to get a pre-signed URL, and then finally we can post that batch and Sitecore CDP pick that up, batch file, and then process it in offline way. Then we talked about interactive APIs. It is more or less same as a Sitecore platform, Sitecore CDP platform of. We can use that interactive API to automate few things in the Sitecore platform itself. So, yes, we can create order, we can manage those guest and orders. Here are few objects that we can manage through interactive APIs like guest data extension. If you have already gone through Sitecore CDP terminologies, then you should be aware of these terms. Guest, how we can extend existing guest data model, order items, order context. So everything can be managed through interactive API as well as from the Sandbox environment. That was a very quick overview of it. Now we'll jump on to the demo. So this, I hope everyone is with me, right? All good, Annie? Okay. I'll proceed. So that is a sample application that I have built at site. It is just a HTML page and nothing else.
So
Arvind,
seeing the demo slide. Yeah, sorry. We're seeing the demo slide.
Oh, okay. I think just a second. Stop it.
थोड़े चावल गर्म कर दो, ज्यादा थोड़े रख लो, ऐसा हो सकता है ना कुछ.
You are at the demo page now?
Yeah, I see the test box about test. Yeah.
Yes.
that is just HTML page that I have just for demo purpose. We quickly went through this page last demo, but today we'll go a little bit in depth of it. So that is pure HTML. This is the page that I'm talking about here. It's a simple HTML, nothing else. If I just collapse this script section that we already discussed, apart from this, everything is pure HTML. We didn't do anything else apart from this. So the very first thing, suppose this is your home page of your application, then what first step that we need to do is we just need to copy this JavaScript snippet and paste it into your master page or home page. And these are the tokens that we need to replace. So first one is the client key, which is very important. And the second one is point of sale. The rest of things are remain same. Target and overflow target, that would be probably remain same. You don't need to worry about much, but yes, the client key and the workflow target is must to have. And the point of sale, which is really important. That would be a separate point of sale means how we are interacting with CDP. It could be your web application, it could be your native phone, it could be POS. So we can create those point of sale in the Sitecore CDP platform, and the same name you need to get here. So now, where to get those information? Probably the most important one is client key and the point of sale. So we'll jump on the CDP platform and try to figure out from where we can get these values. Okay, this is, so currently I'm using Sitecore CDP Sandbox Environment, and the Sandbox Environment is shared between all other users as well. But when you make a deal with Sitecore CDP will provide a private environment that will be accessible to your organization only. But for the testing and demoing purpose, we can leverage their shared environment, which is we are calling Sandbox Environment. So basically, you can see many other things as well. I mean, other users are using the same Sandbox environment, and they are creating their own guests, their own web experiences, and other experiences as well. So okay, this is the URL of Boxiver environment or Sandbox test environment, and as soon as you log into this platform, what you need to do is you just need to just tap on partner sandbox here, and then there is a system settings, and here you can see that the API access and point of sale. So we discussed about two things. First one is the API access. Then we just need to use this client key. That client, we need to replace it on the snippet that we have here. So we just need to copy this client key from platform itself, and then we can place it here. And the second one is the point of sale. So here you can create a new point of sale as per your business need. If you're like, we can discuss, and we already discussed that it could be anything. It could be a separate name or logical separation of your application accessibility or application source. So it could be POS, it could be your tablet, it could be your native application, and it could be your web application. So I have created point of sale here.
Ajya College.
Sorry.
नहीं तब आपा गए नहीं.
Sandeep, can you
आ सकते हैं मतलब 100% चांद. मैं बोलूं.
Sandeep?
उफ़ा जी आएंगे Ajya College.
Remaining participants, can you please mute yourselves?
ब्रदर का ऑपरेशन हुआ कल.
Okay, so we can always create a new point of sale. Here I have created a new point of sale for the demo. and the same name I need to give into my snippet code
ముందుగా పెట్టి చూస్తే అంతా
so that it will uniquely identify where what is the source of the current request. Okay, so that's it.
आगे बाहर जेल तो
These two,
मुंडा पति आगे तो कुड़ी दा
Sandeep. I don't know, it is from Sandeep or someone else. Any can you?
Yeah, I'm looking. It's actually not showing anybody as unmuted. Yeah, I'll.
Okay.
Please go on. I'll manage that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so that's it. Only these two information that we need to, I mean, these two tokens that we need to replace, and we are good to go with actual implementations. As soon as we did that, we need to verify whether we are successfully integrated with the CDP and our application is able to connect to the CDP. We just need to verify it. How we can do that, that is another way of doing it. So here is the page, and that script is already there. So what is next? How can I check that this application is now successfully connected to CDP? I'm in the console mode. I can just type boxover, give you the boxover object. That is fine. It already download the boxover library. There is a one method are getting successful ID, then it does mean that our current page is talk to Sitecore CDP. Getting something like this, it means your script and your configuration is working fine, and the current user is currently anonymous. That is fine, but it is being recognized by CDP, and CDP return this ID to uniquely identify the current user or current interaction or current contact. It could be unknown, but it is still configured and identified by Sitecore. Okay, so that is the first step, and if we are getting this ID, we can safely assume that yes, we are now ready to configure our application with Sitecore CDP. Okay, that is done. The next step could be, okay, now our application is able to talk to Sitecore CDP. Then now how and what we can do with the Sitecore CDP platform to customize my HTML page. So the best way is web experiences. We already discussed the theory part. We already covered in the last session. Today, we'll check that how we can create a web experiences. Like web experiences is actually a marketer friendly. If marketer don't have in-depth knowledge of technical stuff, or any user who is not having a technical background, they can also simply log into the Sitecore CDP platform and then create their own component, their own experiences, and that experiences will be directly displayed on to your page without writing a single line of code. And I'll show you how to do that. So apart from that script, we don't need to do anything else to show that web experiences to the end users. I'll tell you how. I've already created one, but you can always go and create your own web experience. As soon as you are here, there are multiple templates available for Sitecore web experiences, and you can choose any one of them. I mean, the marketer can choose any one of them, and they can also configure the scene. So these are pre-configured templates that can be used, and this is the look at how this experiences will be rendered onto your existing page. That's it. And then once it's done, it will look like, just a second, go back. And here I have created this one, so I'll continue with this. It will look like this. So I have configured this one. This is the pop-up model pop-up that will request user to provide their identity information. So they can just simply provide their email address, and we can also configure that. Okay, what is the position where you want to look, want to see this model pop up on the page, right? What will be the font, fore color, back color? So there are not many other things that you can control. And once you configure everything, then what you need to do is you can simply go and start it. Initially, it will be in draft mode, but if you want to, I'll come back on these points, what are these and when to use this, but currently we are concentrating only on the version 2. And once it is configured, we can start it. So it is now publishing, and once it is done, okay, it's done. I'll go back onto the my HTML page and I just refresh it. So next time I should be able to get that model pop-up. Here it is. So I didn't write any single line of code except the initial script. It's all controlled through Sitecore CDP platforms. So you can see that how simple it is. Okay, now I'm providing my information.
This is again coming down a little bit.
Okay. Okay, so this is the model pop-up that is being controlled by Sitecore CDP, and even marketer and who is having a very less technical background can also use this and control the behavior of the application. Okay, so now I'm providing my identity information and then submitting it. And next time when I come back to my page, the user will be identified. You can see now this is the identified user. So that is the simple example of web experiences. So you can control it through platform itself. Now I'm going back to the Sandbox environment. So here we'll talk about what are those percentage and what are the other versions. So okay, we already discussed in last session that we have the experimentation as well. So that is the part of experimentation. Like you configured multiple model or multiple, I would say multiple design of the same kind of model. We already gone through that. A few of the colors might be different, few of the backgrounds might be different for all those versions. So what we can do is we can create a multiple version of the same component, and we can divide the traffic. So currently 100% means all users who are trying to access my site will always look this kind of variant. But if we want to start the experimentation, what we can do is we can segregate all those visitors to my application. They'll like, I can see that, okay, 30% traffic should go into this variant, remaining 30 should go into this variant, and the remaining 40% would go into this variant. So all those users will see a different model pop up for that information. And then later on, you can identify that, okay, that variant is doing good in terms of conversion. My conversion will be, whereas the guest will be converted into the customer. If this is the case, then we have the proof that, okay, this variant is performing good. And on the production, we are going ahead with this variant only and not these two. So I hope it is bit clear that these are the actual traffic segregations. Okay, so that was the main UI part. now we can jump on to the page targeting. So page targeting for the web experience is also important. For what page you are looking forward to display that particular pop-up, this pop-up. So I have given the home page, I mean the domain and nothing else, so it will be automatically displayed on the home page. But certainly you can define the specific page here so that that web experiences will be displayed only on that page. We can have multiple one as well, so it has the contains. So this is the way we can define. Okay, contains, and this is the page that will be. So CDP platform will compare that. Okay, if URL contains this, then CDP need to send that particular variant to that page. So this is the page targeting, and in the sandbox environment, because I already mentioned that it is a shared environment. So if we are not giving any page targeting, then it simply means that web experience will be displayed to all users. And that will be annoying for other users who doesn't wants to show. So it is always preferable that you always define the page target. Then audiences. Audiences actually a segmentation of the guests. So we can define that, okay, that particular web experience should be displayed to a group of users only. You are not targeting to n number of users, but you have already defined that, okay, if somebody is coming from India region or somebody is coming from Australia region, only then that web experiment or web experience should be visible to them. Rest of the world should not be able to see that kind of promotion or that kind of web experience. Then we can define it here. We can define the audience, and audience can also be configured that only for India region, only for Australia region, that kind of stuff. The next one is decisioning. Decisioning is again like where you can provide the personalization information. So we'll go ahead as well in a couple of seconds. And the final goals. So how do you define that this web experience is doing better job for you? So that is being defined by goals. And we have already said that event is submitted and the event is test event. So this is the goal that we have set for this web experiences. And as soon as that goal is achieved, we can make a decision on the variant, which variant is doing good. Okay, so this is all about the web experiences. I hope everything is fine and everything is like well understood. If not, then they can raise a question right now so that we can move on to the next section of the demo. Any question on web experiences? No? Okay. Fine. So next we are moving on to the full stack. So as we discussed that web experiences is mainly for those users who are having a very little technical background. Probably a marketer is the best role for the web experiences. But what happens if I want a more control on the look and feel of the pop-up that we displayed, and we more control on the behavior, application behavior? Then probably we need a technical person behind, and then that technical person would also be required from the platform side. So they can configure in that way in the full stack. Web is for the marketing person, and full stack is for the developers who is having a more expertise on the technical side. And when we are talking about full stack, there are two separate experiences under full stack. And One is the interactive experiences, and the second one is triggered experiences. We'll talk about triggered experiences a little later. First, we'll concentrate on interactive experiences. If you can see that the configuration screen is almost like same, audience, decisioning, and goals. What are the different thing is the API response. Here we are talking about API. Here we are not talking about any template that we can leverage and any pre-configured tools that we can directly utilize into this. This is more for the technical user, and that is why it is having the API response. Okay, so when we are going to create an API response, it is a purely scripting mode only. So what we can do is how we are exposing the API response. This will give you the API endpoint, and this will be the response. Here we are forming the response. So whenever that experience is being triggered through your application, that will returning the response in JSON format. So probably what we'll get is we'll get the decision values, decision type, tracking URL. These are the properties that it will be returning back to the end user. And that JSON need to be consumed at the application side. How we can do that, I'll show you just a couple of seconds. In rest, everything is same. And this is the decisioning part. I'll come back to you when we are covering that here. Back to demo again. I will check that how interactive experiences is working. Here, I think we already discussed about last demo. What is the use of browser ID? We already. And here are the triggering experiences. So this the good thing with this demo application is it also gives you the insight of the usage. It is I have created in just a way that it will also give you the definition of the keywords that we are using into the CDP. So here, when we are talking about triggering experiences and all kind of experiences, these are the experiences, web experiences that we already discussed about, and that we discussed that design for mainly marketers. And the other things can be done like personalization, express section, and the operational. Now the second one is for the interactive experiences. So what it will do, cover full technology stack, leverage the power of APIs, as we already gone through in the platform that we are exposing the APIs from the CDP platform, and calling application need to consume that API and use the JSON that we are getting from the response in very tightly coupled way, and you'll have a full control on the response. Server-side personalization that we will discuss about it. Have the full control. Full control means because it's an API call, means we have the full control on the data presentation at the client-side application, and mainly for the product team. So who is having a little technical background. So what I'll do is I will just hit that API. I need to check that, okay, that is enabled or not. So, okay, that is paused. So that interactive experience for me is paused. To leverage this, I need to start it. So I'm going to start it again. Without this, we'll not be getting anything. So suppose I'm hitting it, it will not do anything else. I go and start it. Adding this, okay, congratulations, you got 10%. That is coming from the our interactive experiences that we have. Returning the offer. And what we are doing from the other side, we are going through the offers, what we are getting. I'll tell you why I'm getting 10% and how we have configured that the next best offer for the current user. Current user is already identified. Now we'll go onto the platform and we'll try to know that, okay, where is that 10% off is being configured. So going back to the platform, and I am on build, and here is the decisioning. If you little idea about this, we have the decisioning engine where we can configure all those kind of stuff. So here what I'm doing is from the guest current using, I have the decision table, and what decision table is defining that if current user gender is male, I should be able to get the 10% off. And if it is female, then I should be able to get 20% off, right? So current user is identified as male, and that is why we got 10% off. But suppose if I change the gender, I can change it. I think I have configured here. If I execute this, it will set this as a female, as a gender. And then if I call the same triggered experience, I should be able to get 20%. Still 10%. Where I said here, I think I said that gender is now 20%. Okay. Because when I hit this identity, whenever I'm calling this API, I'm setting it as a female, gender as a female, and that is why next time I'm getting the 20% basis on the gender. So now it is 20% then. And here is the decision model where 20% is for the female. And the same can be verified that current user is male or female. We can also verify here. This is the guest, and it is recorded. It is being recording all those stuff that we are doing. So here we can check that, okay, current user gender is female. And on the basis of female, it offers me a 20% discount. So those kind of stuff can easily be configured through CDP platform. And final offer we are getting from here. So that is all about interactive experiences where we have the control over the API. We can expose the API from the platform itself, and those APIs can be consumed by the client application, and they can perform certain operation on the basis of JSON response. Now, the third one is triggered experiences. Triggered experiences means when you're doing something, you want to trigger something on their devices, or maybe in form of email, maybe in form of SMS, or maybe in form of push notification. So triggered experiences is basically an event based. Whatever you are doing, if we capture as the valid event for the triggered experiences, the triggered experiences will trigger. It will also suggest the same one, like we were getting 10%, 20% off instantly, but instead of getting them instantly, what you can do is you can make it event based. If a user is doing something and you want to offer them 10% and 20% on depending on the event, then you can send that email or push notification or SMS to their devices that if you are doing something, or if you are doing this, then you'll get 10% off or 20% off. So that will be in that case, you should always go with the triggered experiences mode. And how we can configure it? Go back to the experiences, full stack, and triggered experiences. And what we need to do is we need to define that what it could be. It could be SMS, it could be mail, what we are doing here. So currently I have configured it as a mail. So it will send the mail to the end user. And what would be the content? It is just a test content that I'm putting here. It will just give that welcome, you have successfully triggered the triggered experiences. That is for the technical term, but we can respond whatever we want. We can also give the JSON in like offer format or whatever type, whatever it is, we can send it in the JSON format back to the client. Now, this is the mail. We decided that, okay, that will be the email notification to the end user, but when it will trigger. So it will trigger when event type is send mail. We have configured that if event type is matched with send email is a custom event that is defined by me. So send, it could be anything. It's just that I have created this send mail just for getting to know that, okay, that will be the email. So this is the custom event. We just need to send the event type as send mail, and what platform will do, a platform will identify that, okay, if the current event is send mail, then it need to trigger this triggered experiences, what we are doing. And the remaining things are same, like audience and decision. So we can leverage this. So now going back to the demo, and what I'll do is I'll trigger this, and what internally it will do, it will trigger the event type as send email, and it will hit the backend server, and then Sitecore CDP platform will trigger the email onto the current email address. Here we have the email address. It will send an email to the end user with that content that we have configured here. Right. So now I'm going back. Let's see that that event is being triggered for the current user or not. So all those interaction is being recorded here in the timeline. We can check that. Okay, it also triggered the triggered experiences and email, but some errors. What are those errors? We can go into the debug mode, check here. What I can see is, okay, this was the custom event that we triggered as a part of this button, right? So what we did is, when I hit this button, it will initiate this particular custom event. So that custom event is registered, and then because the event type is send email, or triggered experience is triggered itself. So it identified that, okay, current event type is send mail, then it trigger itself. And what's the what exception we are getting? Why it is failing? It is failing that failed to send email message getting status code 401. It does mean that whenever it is sending the email server is responding back with 401. I mean, something went wrong with my email service provider. So probably that is the reason. Otherwise, I could have get that email with the same content that we have configured. But we got the essence, right? We just need to trigger any custom event. It is not just custom event. We can consider any of the event, and then as a part of that event, it will trigger itself. Triggering experiences will trigger itself. You should be able to get the final event. I would like to cover only one remaining thing. We are running out of time, I guess. So I'll try to cover only one thing, and that was the connections. So we can also send email that why it is failing and for where we have configured it. I would like to show you. So there is the full stack back. I'm on the triggering experiences. And if you can see this, I'm hitting actually this API, and where I have configured this. So whenever we are trying to interact any third-party APIs from Sitecore CDP, what we need to do is we need to go into the connections. Here we have the connections. So connection is dedicated section where we can configure all third-party connections, all third-party. And what I have done is, was that so I have created a number of connections. So first we'll discuss about this only. This is the connection created by me. So it is just a post call to this URL, and this is the key that I need to pass. And when I trigger this, I should be able to get the test email. So what I did is I just put this, I test it now, it's successfully triggered, and I should be able to get an email in a couple of seconds. So this is how we can integrate any third-party system who is capable to consume and send the REST APIs. So we are just utilizing those. Apart from this, there is one more connection that I made is the custom external product. So it could be anything. I said that it is the SendGrid. Now it is something different. So wherever our API is being hosted, we can simply go and consume those APIs here. We can check that, okay, what kind of connection it is. It is a GET or it is a POST. What is the URL and what are the parameters I need to pass. And then you can also check or test the response as well. So I'm hitting this URL. I should be able to get the response. I think probably it is down. Yeah, maybe currently it is down, so it is not working. But yeah, the essence is we can connect to any of the API that we may have. Yeah. So now I'm getting the response as a product. So this is about integrating or interacting any third-party APIs. So suppose our APIs are hosted somewhere else and how we can leverage those API response in the Sitecore CDP environment. That is covering that. And that's it. That all are from this single script. One thing that I again missed is Google GTM. So if I go into that page, so GTM, if your application is already integrating with the GTM, this is the script that we need to add in the header section and one thing into the body section, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. Anything else apart from this, and rest that script that we were talking about, that will be a part of your GTM. So and you can see that I don't have any this kind of script here. That script is in the index HTML, but in GTM we don't have that. But still, that should be working as the index pages work. I'm still recognized user, and rest everything should be working fine, even though I'm not having anything on that page, right? Because it is being controlled into the GTM and that script has been added into the GTM itself. That we have covered the GTM part as well. Okay, probably it is quicker and it has been too much to get on, but I'm always here. You can connect me anytime. You can raise your questions, queries on Slack. I'm always available on Slack. I'll respond to that on your questions. Now over to you. Any questions on these? I would be happy to give you the answers. Back to you, Annie.
Thank you, Arvind. Does anyone have any questions right now? Feel free to unmute yourselves. All right, I think we're good for now. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to reach out to Arvind. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Arvind, thank you again for presenting for us.
Thank you, Thank you,
We'll be
everyone.
sharing the recording of this meeting shortly on our channel. Thank you again, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.